We are focusing on the NAEYC Code of Ethical Conduct, a critical topic for your Child Development Associate, or CDA, credentialing exam. The exam will expect you to know that the code is built on a foundation of core values. These include appreciating childhood as a unique and valuable stage of life, basing our work on knowledge of how children develop, supporting the bond between the child and family, and respecting the dignity and uniqueness of each individual. The code is organized into 4 key sections, and you need to know them in order of priority. Section 1 covers ethical responsibilities to children, which is always our primary responsibility. Section 2 addresses our responsibilities to families. Section 3 is about our relationships with colleagues. And finally, Section 4 covers our responsibilities to the community and society. Here's a mental shortcut to remember the order of priority. Can families collaborate socially? CFCS, Children, Families, Colleagues, Society. On the exam, when you face a dilemma with multiple stakeholders, your responsibility to the child always comes first. A major trap on the CDA exam is confusing ideals and principles. Ideals are the aspirational goals of the profession, what we strive for. Principles, however, are mandatory and describe what you must or must not do. Exam questions often use words like required or obligated, which are your clues that you need to identify the relevant principle, not just a nice-sounding ideal. Let's walk through a typical exam scenario. A parent asks you not to let their child nap at school, explaining it makes their bedtime routine at home very difficult. What does the NAEYC code require you to do? An answer choice might be, follow the parent's request to support the family. This touches on Section 2, responsibilities to families. However, the correct answer is to have a conversation with the parent explaining the child's developmental need for rest while collaborating on a potential solution. This is because Principle P1.1, the duty to not harm children, takes precedence over all other principles. Depriving a child of needed rest could be physically and emotionally damaging. Even though the request comes from the family, your primary ethical obligation is to the child's well-being. Consider another common scenario. A coworker consistently uses harsh, negative language when redirecting children. While Section 3 of the code addresses responsibilities to colleagues, your primary duty is to the children. The code requires you to first ensure the children are safe, and then address the issue with your colleague directly and professionally. If the behavior continues, you are obligated to report it to a supervisor to protect the children's emotional well-being. The exam isn't about memorizing every single ideal and principle. It's about using the code's framework, its core values, the 4 sections in order of priority, and the distinction between ideals and principles to resolve ethical dilemmas. When you see a scenario question, first identify who your primary responsibility is to, which is always the child. Then, determine if the situation calls for a mandatory action, which is a principle, or a general goal, which is an ideal. For free practice questions, AI-powered explanations, and more exam prep tools, visit openexamprep.com. That's openexamprep, all one word, .com.